In the previous two lectures, we have been doing Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard by Gray. We have already done 9 stanzas of this poem. Today, I'll be taking from 10th stanza onwards. Nor you, ye proud, impute to these the fault, if memory over their tomb no trophies raise. Now, the poet in this stanza is addressing the wealthy, proud people. Impute is to put blame, to lay blame or to put blame. To these the villagers lying buried in their graves. The fault is the defect. If memory, those people who were to remember the village forefathers after their death. Tombs are the graves. Trophies are the monuments which are erected in the memory of the dead people. Raise is to erect. Where through the long drawn easel and fretted vault the pealing anthem swells the note of praise. Now, easel is the division of a church, especially one divided by pillars from the chair. From fretted vault is the arched roof ornamented with fret work. नक्काशीदार जो छत होती है उसको बोलते हैं fretted wall. The pealing anthem here means a sacred song in the church. Swell is to increase. The note of praise is the praise of the poor villagers. Now, in these lines, the poet is in a way warning the rich people not to lay fault on the poor if memories are not raised on their graves. It is not the fault of the poor who lie dead in the graves if no memorials have been erected in their memory. The society is to be blamed more for this. Addressing the proud, ambitious, and showy people of cities, the poet says that they should not lay blame on the poor villagers who lie buried in the simple graves if their friends and relatives could not erect monuments over them. The poor forefathers of the villagers are buried outside the church while those of the rich inside it. The poet, in a way, admonishes or we can say rebukes the rich and proud people of the cities that they should not hate these ordinary graves of the rude rustics or these innocent village people. It is not their fault that grand and majestic memorials are not erected on their graves and they were not buried inside the church. And he says no funeral song was sung in their funeral. They have been buried unsung and unhonored. It is none of their fault. Society is more responsible for it. Also, these honors have no effect on death because death comes to all and death levels everybody. So every time he is insisting that if these people, it's not that they are not gifted, these poor people, they have also talents in them, but they could not get the opportunity to bring them out, and so they were buried unsung and unhonored, but for this they are not to be blamed. Rather, the society is to be blamed who did not take into consideration the useful services that they provided to the society. Now we come to the 11th stanza. Storied urn. Urn is a vessel used by the ancient people to preserve the ashes of the dead. after cremation. So it becomes a kind of a monument which where around it the achievements of the persons were carved, so to make the person to be remembered for centuries. Can storied urn or animated bust? Animated bust is a lifelike statue which is again erected for you know for proud, ambitious, rich, and wealthy people. Back to its mansion. Back to its mansion. Now, mansion here means to the living state. Back to the living state. Mansion otherwise is a you know palace. So what he is saying that it is the body which keeps the soul. So even if a person is dead, then whether you create a statue, erect a statue for him, or you keep the vessel, keep the ashes of the dead person in the vessel, it is not going the dead back to life. So it cannot bring back to the living state whatever you whatever you do after the death of a person. It is not going to make any difference to him because he has gone to eternal sleep. Call is to invite the back to its mention. Call the fleeting breath. To call is to invite fleeting breath, the person who is about to die. So whatever you do for the person who is going to die, it is not going to bring him back to life. Honor's voice. Now, can honor's voice provoke the silent dust, or flattery soothe the dull cold ear of death? Now he says that words or speeches in honor of the dead person. Provoke is to stir up, to call forth, to rouse up into action, to bring back into action. The silent dust. The silent dust is the dead person who becomes the man who becomes, dust after death. Flattery is sycophancy, chaplacy. The the figure here, the figure of speech used is personification. So flattery means the persons who do flattery. So it is personification. Flattery means the persons who do flattery. The dull cold ear of death. Because after death you become life. Warmth is associated with life, whereas coldness is associated with death. Once a person dies, he becomes, his ear, they become cold. He is unable to hear anything, whether you sing his praises or do flattery to him or you flatter him, nothing is going to affect him. So he becomes insensitive. His ears become insensitive and he is not able to hear anything. So and flattery, even the language of flattery cannot please the ears which have been made insensitive by death. So he says it is not going to make any difference whether you sing praises for the persons who are dead, or you keep his ashes in the urn, or you erect a monument in his memory, because after death he is not going to see any of these things, or he cannot be brought back to life. So he says that it is hardly going to make any difference whether you erect something in the memory of these dead poor people, because the monuments which have been erected in the memory of wealthy people or the people who have been great success in practical terms, even they are not going to see those monuments, or they are not going to hear the praises which are sung in their praises.